This video describes the basics of getting started with Barracuda Vulnerability Remediation Service. Barracuda Vulnerability Remediation Service allows you to scan your web applications to find security weaknesses or vulnerabilities. Once a scan is complete, you can connect to your Barracuda web application firewall to automatically remediate or fix those vulnerabilities, ensuring your application is secure. In this video, we will create a scan, view the scan results, and mitigate vulnerabilities. First, go to vrs.barracuda.com and log in. On the scanner page, click Add New Web Application to let the system know about the application you want to scan. On the New Application window, fill in the information about your web application. Enter the URL of the application to scan. You can enter a specific name for the app or use the one the system creates. Verification is very important. Barracuda must ensure that you are the owner of the application before we will scan it. The simplest verification is using email. Type an email address on this domain that you can use to verify you own the domain. The defaults on this page are selected, so you don't have to deal with them if you don't want to. Email notifications are set up to always send a notification when a scan finishes and on a weekly basis. Enter one or more email addresses to receive the reports when the scan is complete. This section is where you will specify if you are working with a Barracuda Web Application Firewall or WAF. We'll leave that alone for now. Click Create. The web application displays on the scanner page. Notice that there's a default scan already set up with the most useful settings, so if you don't want to go in and set anything, you don't have to. Before we run the scan, though, let's adjust one thing. Let's make this a recurring scan. Click Edit and go into the Scheduling section of the General tab. By default, scans are created to be run manually, but you can change them to run on a certain date or on a recurring schedule. Let's make this scan run weekly, every week on Sundays at 2 a.m. Click Save to save this change. You can see the schedule for this scan shows the schedule we just set. You can also click Run Now at any time to run the scan on demand. Let's do that. When you click Run Now, the scan starts. You can go to the Scan Status page to see the scan in progress. Here, we've sped up the process a little. When it's done, go to the Vulnerabilities tab to see the vulnerabilities and work with them. Hover over the Vulnerabilities bar chart to see a quick breakdown of the vulnerability types found in a certain application. Click on the row to view vulnerability details for a certain application. There are many ways to filter the vulnerabilities. Filter by severity, method of mitigation, and whether the connected web application firewall can automatically fix them or if they require manual intervention. Click the row to see the details for specific vulnerability. The severity level of the vulnerability is shown with an icon in the upper left corner. You can change the severity if you want, and add your own notes about the vulnerability. Select the different tabs to learn more about the vulnerability, including logs of when it was first found and what has happened with it since then. You can interface with the Barracuda WAF directly from this page. Up on the right side, select whether you want to mitigate the vulnerability in passive mode or in active mode. In passive mode, the WAF monitors and logs security violations, but does not block them. In active mode, the WAF monitors for security violations and blocks potential violations, ensuring they don't reach your server. If you'll fix the vulnerability yourself without the WAF, select Manual, or you can select Ignore if you don't care about a minor vulnerability. Back on the main vulnerabilities page for this scan, you can change the mitigation method for multiple vulnerabilities at a time. Select one or more checkboxes to mark vulnerabilities, or select the top checkbox to mark all of the vulnerabilities for this scan. Then, click the method of mitigation using the buttons in the top right. You can also view a report from this scan. Click the Reports tab. Here, you can choose to download a PDF so you can easily share the information with others. Let's click View to see the report for this web application. At the top, the executive summary shows the breakdown of vulnerability severity. There's some basic information about how the scan was run, Then a section on issues found that might impact your compliance with security standards such as OWASP and HIPAA. Next, the table of contents lists vulnerabilities in order of severity. Click a link to go to that spot in the report, where you can see the details of the vulnerability, including a description of the vulnerability, how to mitigate it, and where it occurs in your web app. To create additional scans on this web application, or to add a new web app to scan, return to the Scanner Web Applications tab. Here, you can add a new web app, add a new scan, or if you want to use this scan as a jumping off point, you can click Clone to create a new scan based on this original scan. Thanks for watching.